Hello and welcome to today's video. This time we're going to be unboxing and having a look through this amazing oversized massive Spider-Man hardback as published by Taschen. Now this was an incredible viewer donation from IBX Running Luke, and I really appreciate this. I couldn't quite believe it when I was unpacking it and can't wait to share it with you now. So sit back, relax and let's get to it. Okay, I've got this one up on my desk, and it is literally that big. It only just about fits into the picture, and the actual weight of it as well. It is a real hefty tome here, and well, first of all, in the card, this is like the shipper box, really, and it's got the reproduction of Amazing Spider-Man 1 there with the FF guest appearing, and there we are. There is the actual book. So obviously, this one's brand new and sealed. And boy, oh boy, it is an incredible size. I cannot wait to have a look in. I've been keeping it back, waiting for a moment so we can actually have a proper look at this one. And just look at it. Absolutely amazing. Really superb. And it's the spine. It's published by Taschen. Now, Taschen is a fantastic publisher. They've been around quite a long time now. And they are famous for producing absolutely massive books at very reasonable prices. I do recommend them as a publisher. So while we've got it this size, we need to now get into it. So let's just see if I can break the plastic. Here we go. So it's not got a glossy cover. The cover is sort of like almost like textured, if that makes sense. You can feel it. Well, I'm almost afraid to open the first page, but let's have a look. Wow. So I do hope I've got enough room to actually show you this. This is his origin, of course. There we are. Amazing. Right. What I'm going to do then, I'm going to adjust the camera now so we can get a better view of it from over the top. Here we go then. Well, this is a amazing Spidey fold out there. And here's the table of contents. A foreword by David Mandel, A New Kind of Hero, Rolf Macchio. And the comics, you get Amazing Fantasy 15, Amazing Spider-Man 1 to 19, plus the first annual. So there's 21 comics in total. Then some history, storyline and credits, Birth of Spider-Man, and biographies. That's cool. First appearance of Mysterio. Look at this original artwork here. Wow, I don't think I've ever seen this artwork from such an early period, and this looks like it's early Steve Ditko work. Yeah. So Steve Ditko was, of course, the original Spider-Man artist, and working alongside Stan, created Spider-Man. Yeah, look at this, Vulture pages. Spider-Man number 7. Wow. Incredible, eh? This really is amazing. Well, I'll tell you what, it's not bedtime reading, because, I mean, literally, you can see it's taken up my entire filming table here. But in a good way, seeing the artwork, this sort of size, and the quality of each sheet of paper is really, well, thick. It's thick paper, it's beautiful. This is typical of Taschen. Their quality is fantastic. Looks like a fanzine there. A few panels blown up, and here we are. So, into Amazing Fantasy 15. Wow, look at that. Well, I've read this comic, I don't know how many times, probably 50 times, maybe more. I've never seen it this size. Oh, and they even include the original adverts. Wow. it's got the texture of the comic has got a sort of a funny feel to it. This side is glossy. This side, it's almost like it's designed to feel different from the rest of the book. Maybe sort of comic book paperish. Wow. Yeah, these pages aren't quite as thick as like the introduction. And anyone who's read these comics knows just how good they are. I mean, absolutely phenomenal. This is typical of Taschen, putting in the original adverts like that. And there we are, the back cover advert as well. And there it is, the iconic Spider-Man #1, as iconic as Amazing Fantasy 15, I would say. And yeah, the actual comics themselves have got a slightly different feel to them. Wow, I tell you what, they're just... reading it this sort of size, it's a real experience, I have to say. I mean, wow. I remember these so well. Here we are. This is when the Fantastic Four guest star. The first of many, many battles. A personal message from Spider-Man. That was on the inside back cover, wasn't it? And then the cover itself is really glossy, just like the original book would have been. Amazing. That's incredible. That really is quite something, isn't it? The Vulture. I mean, you have to say this is probably the definitive edition of these books. I know they've been reprinted countless times. Certainly my first experience with these was in a 1970s pocketbook, a little paperback size. So to be reading them now in perhaps one of the biggest books I actually own is it's quite ironic, since it was really, really small, tiny little text, reading them in that paperback back in the 70s. Wow. Doc Ock. And this is the sort of book that I guess only Taschen could really produce. I mean, they do books even bigger than this, if you can believe it. Books which come with their own tables so you can actually read them. But they're generally like massive photography books, not these great comic reprints. But this was always Taschen's origins. And one day, if I can hire a train or a plane or a crane, I'll get all my Taschen books out here to the studio, because what's put me off ever doing a Taschen collection overview was just the sheer work involved in getting them all out here. So maybe that's something I'll do in the future, or maybe film them in situ, because they're all like this. It's massive books, and I really I've always loved Taschen, but I haven't got anything quite like this. Number 4 here, Sandman, first Sandman. And you can sort of see there's like a grain in the actual pages of the comics to make them appear and feel more like a comic book page. I mean, it's really quite something. Yet the covers and the introduction that were all glossy. Very, very clever. Must have read this one so many times. I just loved it. Absolutely loved this one. The Sandman appearance. Brilliant. Oh, ad for the X-Men. So with this particular format, I think they've done the Avengers, Taschen, and they've done a follow-up to this Spider-Man one with like a volume 2 with the next couple of years worth. Here's an early Doctor Doom. See, he was more an established Fantastic Four villain, but they're all getting in on the Spider-Man act. So I wonder if the actual strips themselves, they don't appear to have been recolored. They're much more authentic, the colouring, to the original comics. These have not been recolored like they did, say, with the Conan reprints, for example. And I think that's a better approach because they feel more authentic when you're going through them. Of course, by now we get our first letters page. I don't know if anyone that famous is in the early letters. Seeing the ads for these as well, so big, incredible. Here we are, issue 6 with the lizard. You may have seen the video I did about a year or so ago now with my friend George. He's got a full run of Spider-Man, and we went through the first 100 of his original copies. Absolutely fantastic to see the first 100. I'll try and remember to link to that one at the end. But I think, we owe it to ourselves just to go through the entire book because it's that good. Absolutely incredible. Another letters page here. Just seeing these, it's like every page is almost like a pin-up, isn't it? Incredible. Vulture's back for number 7. The Return of Vulture. Awesome. Now, once again, I did read these in paperback first time round. They did in fact, they did 3 volumes of the paperbacks. I never had the 3rd one at the time, but this was in the 2nd paperback book published by Pocket, and they were published in the UK as well, which is how I read them. And Spider-Man and his cast of co-stars, as it were, are a bit more established at this point, aren't they? I think that was part of the charm. It wasn't just Spider-Man, it was Peter Parker and all the people around him. That really made the book. Ah, yeah, Spidey number 8, look at that. Finally gets to fight Flash Thompson. Living Brain. Well, I think we're about halfway. It's got a little bookmark tassel in there, which is quite handy. I mean, just the overall production is just flawless. Absolutely amazing. So yeah, so after the Pocket books, I seem to remember there was a Spider-Man Comics Weekly around the same sort of time, which did reprints. And I think there was some sort of digest or something, but there was definitely no shortage of Spider-Man strips that you could actually read if you wanted to on a pretty regular basis. And of course, by then I was picking up American comics. They were on my radar, and I would always pick up Spider-Man, although they didn't turn up very often. Here we are, Electro. Got a great cover again. That amazing stuff. Man Called Electro. Another. What a great page that is. The splash page. Brilliant. All the key cast. You see. Wow. So I hope this is filling you with nostalgia as we work our way through these. Absolutely incredible. What a way to enjoy these books. I mean, just Incredible. Right, there's the tassel bookmark there. We'll leave that in there. I guess that's about at the halfway point, approximately, into the book. So at this point, we're up to FF23. There we are. Spidey 10 with the Enforcers. Now, Taschen don't just do Marvel books, they've done some great books on the various DC ages, the Golden Age, Silver and Bronze, and they're also fantastic Taschen books. They're not quite as big as this, they're just the next, I think, the next size down, but they're still enormous. Highly recommended. And I think Benedict Taschen himself, when the publisher first started, I think they made their name publishing graphic novel reprints. That was one of their things that they did very early on. There we are, The Return of Doc Ock, number 11. Wow. Everything's so clear as well. For my slightly older eyes now. But I remember reading these, when I was, I don't know, 8 or 9 years old. And they were like some of the best comics I'd ever read. Just amazing. And of course, around that time, we had the Spider-Man movies, which were great. Mega cheesy nowadays, of course, but back then they were brilliant. FF25 and X-Men issue 4. And look, in the sensational Spider-Man tradition, teasing Daredevil number 1 there. Unmasked by Dr. Octopus. Awesome. Another great splash page there. And Steve Ditko's really got a grasp of all the characters by now. The artwork gets better and better, doesn't it? There we are, the sideways ad, that's exactly how it was. No mention of Daredevil there, but there's the original artwork that we saw in the introduction there for Mysterio. Spidey 13, absolutely great comic. Yeah, good villain is old Mysterio. But they're all good, aren't they? There we are, and then ads for Avengers 5 and X-Men 5. And then some of the other ones that we've got there. So, Tales of Astonish 56, Strange Tales, Tales of Suspense FF. Of course, Spider-Man number 14 here, which is another Green Goblin. And Hulk guest stars. Yep, there he is. Yep, epic stuff. Right, Craven. Craven the Hunter, guest starring the Chameleon for number 15. Yeah, I mean, it was great villain after great villain, wasn't it? Issue after issue. And, you know, these characters are still around today, so it shows just how well drawn they originally were. And what must it have been like to be sort of reading these books as they were being published? I suggest probably amazing. We're very much spoilt these days with so much to look back on and enjoy. Here we are. Well, it had to happen. Spidey was the Amazing Spider-Man being used to promote the new Daredevil comic, which was a technique that Marvel used. Put a new character in a popular comic. In his original yellow outfit, of course. Number 17 now, guest starring Human Torch again and the Green Goblin. Referring to the back issue, number 14. Great continuity with these, absolutely fantastic. So once again, my thanks to Luke over at IBX Running. They do have a YouTube channel, Instagram and what have you. So go and check them out. There we are at the Marvel Tales Annual number 1. That's got those origin stories in. And we've got Spider-Man Annual number 1, which we'll read in a minute. And FF Annual 2. Written by Stan Lee, author of the Fantastic Four, illustrated by Steve Ditko, illustrator of Doctor Strange, and letter by Sam Rosen, letterer of Patsy Walker. Huh. Nice rendition of J. Jonah there. And certainly Marvel weren't afraid to sort of ham it up and make a little bit of fun of themselves. Just amazing. What a cast. When they start pulling in the previous villains and having a guest star virtually every issue, it just really, really makes the comic, doesn't it? There we are. 4 more Marvel Masterpieces. Thor gets a mention there, Journey into Mystery, 109. So I think this was the last of the regular ones, isn't it? So we'll have a look through this, and then we'll take a look at the first annual. I think this book just sort of deserved going through every single page, really, just because it's that good. They've really treated the source material very, very well. And here we are, the first annual, Sinister Six. Yeah, 41 pages of indescribable excitement. I do like the Spider-Man annuals. I particularly like Spider-Man Annual 2, but that's not in this particular one. But I always enjoy the giant size issues. God, full page of Craven there. It just looks incredible, doesn't it? Oh, X-Men appearing. Mysterio, they're all making a little guest appearance here. Another great page there, that Sandman page. And we had the little pin-up pages, didn't we? Pad the annual out a little bit. Fantastic, all the same. Look at these, brilliant, aren't they? Super cool. Yeah, I remember that one. Very, very nice. I think we forget the Living Brain, but some of the other ones are just so good. Well, it's an absolute love letter to these early Spider-Man comics. I mean, they've not been treated better anywhere else. Just incredible. Absolutely incredible book. Oh, I remember these as well. I think these were reprinted in the books, I seem to recall. Heel and Heartthrob. Peter Parker's classmates. His house. How Stan Lee and Steve Ditko create Spider-Man is a classic, isn't it? What an issue. What an annual. Now we got the sort of the outro part now. So we got all the storylines and credits there. Look at that. Almost an archive style. This side here. Look at this. More original artwork. I'm assuming that's Steve Ditko there by the look of it. Look at that. Beautiful. Well, what an absolutely amazing book this is, isn't it? And then there's all the biographies for everyone who contributed to those issues. Wow, 2021 this was published. And this is the collector's edition, is what they call it. So this is quite interesting. So it says at the top here, the collector. The majority of the comics included in this volume were photographed from the collection of Shelton Drum. A comic collector since childhood, Drum began aggressively hunting out his favourite issues during the mid-60s after noticing that Amazing Spider-Man #1 was selling for the then unbelievable price of $10. And there we go. Oh, what an absolutely amazing tome. So I do hope you enjoyed that little look through the Amazing Spider-Man, and I'm sure, like me, if you've gone through that, you're as big a fan as I am. Thanks once again to IBX Running and Luke for the most generous donation to the channel I think we've ever had. And yeah, thank you for watching. If you've not already, do please hit the subscribe button, and do please give the video a like and a comment down below with your favourite Amazing Spider-Man stories. Thanks once again, and I'll see you again very soon. Bye.